I'm Kat and I play Red. You might have heard of a little game called Ark Nova. It's been a little bit of a hint. And by that token, you may have heard of Marine Worlds, which is the latest expansion. And no, you're not seeing double. This one is actually my copy. This is a friend's copy, Michelle. This is your copy on camera. Because we're going to have a look at what you get in it. So, this is her brand new copy. Nothing's been punched, nothing's been unwrapped. And then we'll go and have a look at the other stuff in mine. So, this was €25 at Essen. I think this is a bargain because there's a lot of stuff in here for your money. So, the first thing that we've got is some alternate player markers. So we've got red, black, yellow and blue. Now, these are the tokens that go on your board that you then put onto the conservation projects. So basically, instead of having cubes, you have these cube animals. The red ones are cats, so obviously I approve of that. We've also got some alternative markers for our conservation, our appeal and our reputation. I know quite a few people have bought fancy versions. You don't need to because you get them with the Marine Worlds expansion. So we've got a set of those for each player. We've then got a ton of new cards. What have we got? How many have we got? 54, 60, 61, 70, 80 or so new cards. And we'll have a look at them in more detail when we open my set. We have then got some new bonus tiles. I think a couple of these replace stuff, but they are mostly new ones. So there's that. We have a new association board. Why do we have a new association board? Because we have a new university space, which again we'll look at in a minute. So new association board. And then we have a big punch board with a load of goodies, which I'm going to try not to punch. We've got just some extra stuff, some extra kiosks here. And we have the new universities. And we've then got some special aquarium enclosures in the space 2 and 5. We've got some unique buildings that go with some of the new cards, and we've got a new token here for solo play. And the universities on here you're going to need to ignore because essentially that's been replaced with those, so don't look at them. So that's everything you get in the box. We're going to open up my copy now and have a look at it all in a bit more detail. So put this back. Thank you very much, Michelle, for the loan of your copy. It will be coming your way very soon. So put them away. And there we go. Now, don't judge me because our box is a bit of a mess, which is fine. Doesn't matter. It's all good. So, I know we put the new cards separate. So, when I was talking about the little animal tokens, this is where they go, on these spaces on your board. So, rather than having cubes, oops, you're just going to pop these on here. So, they're totally not necessary, but rather lovely, is what I'm going to say. So we've actually managed to get all of the new tiles and stuff into our original trays, even with some upgraded money and our cute little coffee cup. These were actually from Eurohell. that 3D print a load of stuff. The money's actually got some metal cores, so it's got a little bit of weight to it, so those are rather nice. So I'll just mention that in passing. So our new universities. If you notice, the player boards still only have 3 spaces. So again, Ark Nova, making you choose. There's always one thing you can't do. So on our association board, we're going to have this tile. And then next to that, we're going to have a pile of the other ones. Gotta find them. Now, there is one of these for each different animal type. And when you take this university, you don't actually take that one. You're going to choose one of these to take. So they're going to give you, all of them are going to give you a science icon. They're then going to give you an icon of the depicted animal type. So this is going to give you a herbivore, this is going to give you bird, this is going to give you a predator. And this is going to give you a sea animals icon. They're also going to give you an ability to start at the top of the deck and go through until you find a card with this symbol. Be it a sponsor or an animal, you're going to take the next card that has the herbivore, the bird, or whatever, into your hand. So that's quite a neat way to help with your conservation projects, and to just help, I think, speed the game up to some degree, because that obviously then helps with you placing other stuff. So that's our new university. So pop them back in there. Now they've changed some of the icons, which means that some of these cards have changed. So these are our new brown cards compared to our old ones. Also, some of the costs and things have changed. Some of the goals have changed a bit. So we'll look at that in a minute. So let me find diverse species. The symbol for species diversity and habitat diversity has changed. So there's a lot of cards where this is the one difference. We have this symbol rather than that one. We've also got, I mean, this is the species diversity. So these have just changed. It's just the symbol that have changed. But then we've got things like our large animal, which has actually become easier to get the full points. We've gone from having 5 to get 4 points to 4. I assume this is because there's been more smaller animals added. Trying desperately hard not to get these cards mixed up here. So sponsor cards, I think that's changed a bit as well. Yeah, instead of needing 10, you need 9. So there's some balancing that has been done. So you're going to get a load more of these cards. There's a couple of these green cards. As I said, species diversity, habitat diversity, the icons have changed, and therefore the cards are different. Exactly the same, 235, 235, exactly the same, but just a new icon. And these are all right. And those are the rest of our green cards. There is also, there's also sea animals, conservation card, not unsurprisingly. That's the only new thing there. Now, one of the things that's going to drive you a bit mad is there's a lot of cards that need swapping out mostly because of the symbol change. So if you look, Foreign Institute, it's exactly the same, but we have the new symbology. There is actually a list of the cards you need to swap in the rule book. So it's a bit scary because you start trying to work out which is which, but I will point out that we've got this little icon, the little seahorse, that tells us it's Marine Worlds. So these are all new versions of old cards. So this is all stuff you're used to, but just updated cards. So I'm actually going to separate these out. And there we go. Some cards, the sea animal icon has been added because reptiles and sea animals are closely linked. The new buildings we have are the aquariums. So these, there are cards, there are animals that have to go in aquariums. So they're kind of a bit like your reptile house, your large bird aviaries, except these animals must go in an aquarium. So here we go. Here's a Lonkum sawfish. He takes up 3 spaces in this 5. Don't be deceived by the 4 here. It's in red to show that it doesn't apply. This is purely an indicator as to whether an animal is a small or a large animal, because we all know that counts. So the other good thing about these buildings is they give you a water icon, so they can help you purely in that sense. Here's another one, a guinea fowl puffer. So again, he has to go in an aquarium and he's going to take up 2 spaces. The other thing you might notice here is the wave icon. Now, the wave icon has been introduced as a mechanism to get the cards flowing from the main player board. If you draw one of these into the display, you're going to remove the first card in the display and move everything down. So it's purely about keeping those cards moving, because with even more cards, you want to make sure that you get the cards you want. The last big thing we've got is new action cards. Now, there is a set of just basic replacement cards because we've got a slightly different layout and a different way of explaining them. So if you're like us and you've played this a lot, you're going to be quite glad to have some new cards. I definitely sort of got to the point where I thought, are we going to have to replace our copy of this just for the cards? So you've got a new set of basic cards, but with the symbology done slightly differently. The other thing we've got is a different kind of new action cards. Now these have got different abilities. You're going to draft them at the start of the game. You're going to have 2 of the new ones in play. There's a different set, or there's a set of 4, all of which have different abilities for each card. So there's a lot of information, so I'm just going to show you a few here. So this one here lets you pay free to build an additional kiosk, free to build an additional pavilion, 2 to cover rock or water spaces. This gives you +1 on the build, but then also the abilities on the back are souped up versions of that. So I think they're all pretty much the same thing but cheaper. And the same applies for the animals. You're going to ignore 1 condition if you're using animals at 5. If you have no animal cards in hand, you're going to get the hunter ability, reduced cost of animals. So there's a ton of new abilities on these. There's basically 50 new abilities because there's all the different versions of each side. So there's loads of stuff here. Now, I'll be honest, we've played with all the new content. We haven't played with these yet because we wanted to get used to the other new stuff before adding it, because there is so much new stuff in this expansion. Obviously, it's called Marine Worlds, but to be fair, the Marine Worlds is kind of only a small part of what it's adding. It's tidied up a lot of rules. It's made a lot of things more balanced. Obviously, we had the sea animals, but we've got the aquariums, we've got the new action cards, we've got the new university. There's so much new stuff. Now, I'm not going to say it radically changes the game or the way you play the game. There's a lot of stuff that helps move the cards along. So it's kind of designed, I think, almost to speed the game up a bit. It's almost a bit like Prelude for Terraforming Mars. There's so much stuff, and it was an absolute bargain for what's in that box. Things like the animals are cute, but unnecessary, but they add a nice touch. I know a lot of people have upgraded stuff. You didn't need to, you just needed to wait for this to come out. This is available now to buy from the Capstone website. I think some of the standard board game shops in the UK have started getting it in, so it is available now. Check it out if you like Ark Nova. So much good stuff, loads of different things to experiment and play with, and I think, you know, we've played this a few times and we've still not seen everything. I think it's going to be quite a while before we've seen everything that this expansion has to offer, which is how we like it. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click like, subscribe, all that stuff. See you next time. Bye.